Dear students, welcome to our YouTube channel Vidya for Success. In this video, we will be studying continuation part of theory on the lesson Biological Classification. Yes, let us now study one more organism that is not placed under any of the kingdom. So, name of that organism is viroids. So we have seen in our earlier slide, that is the viruses. So viruses are also not placed under any of the kingdom because they are non-living organisms outside the host. So because of that unique feature, viruses are not placed under any kingdom. So here we have a one more organism. This is also not placed under any of the kingdom because it is also not consist of cell. Yes, these organisms, viroids, first identified in the year 1971 by one of the scientists called as T.O. Diner. So T.O. Diner was the first one who identified the presence of viroids. So viroids are actually pathogenic, that means a disease causing organism like viruses. So viroids are smaller than viruses. So the meaning viroid is nothing but virus like organism. But we have little difference here compared to viruses. You will come to know in our further explanation what is that actual difference. So viroids are smaller than the viruses. So we have studied in the viruses are smaller than bacteria, but viroids are smaller than viruses. They are very smaller organisms compared to the virus. So you can see in the diagram. So there you can notice the actual structure of viroid. So viroid is only made out of a genetic material. Clear? So they are parasitic to plants. So parasitic is nothing but disease causing organism. Clear? So viroids are parasitic to plants. One of the example of a disease we can notice in the plant is potato spindle tuber disease. So in the potato plant, the tuber is actually get infected by viroids. So name of that disease is potato spindle tuber disease. So the actual healthy tuber will get converted into spindle shape. That means the tuber will become very narrow because of this organism. So actually the viroids are parasitic to only plants. They does not causes any disease in animals or some other organism. They are parasitic to only plants. This is very important thing with regarding the viroids. Then if you see the structure of viroids, so viroids they lack protein coat. Protein coat is commonly present in viruses. So we have seen there genetic material in the viruses is actually get protected by outermost protein coat. But if you see the viroids, they does not consist of any protein coat. You can notice clearly in the diagram, only genetic material will be present. There is no any outermost protein coat. Then what is the genetic material? So the genetic material is RNA. So we can say it as a free RNA because there is no protein coat. So this is what the difference we have between viruses and viroids. So viruses they consist of protein coat, but viroids they does not consist of protein coat. So because of the lack of protein coat here, these organisms are called as viroids. That means devoid of protein coat. They lack protein coat. Understood. So instead of that, they are having only free RNA. So this RNA is responsible for causing infection in plants. Then RNA of viroids was of low molecular weight. So molecular weight of RNA is very less compared to the molecular weight of RNA in viruses. So this is a one more difference. So the molecular weight here in viroids is very less compared to the viruses. So these are the few characteristic features with regarding the viroids. So you have to remember the two main thing here. That means one is they are parasitic to plant and they does not consist of protein coat. And one more thing is they contain free RNA as a genetic material. Understood? Yes. Yes, let us study the one more organism that is not placed under any of the kingdom. So name of the organism is prions. So what do you mean by prions? So prions are infectious particle made up of protein. So we have seen in the viroids, viroids consist of only RNA. They does not consist of protein coat. But if you come to the prions, prions are made out of only proteins. There is no genetic material. Nucleic acid is completely absent here. So you can notice in the diagram. So protein is enfolded in different manner. So highly enfolded protein is forming infectious prions here. So where do we find this infectious proteinaceous particle? So these organisms can be seen in animals because they causes disease in animals. So animals like human being and cattle, they actually suffer from number of diseases caused by prions. So these infectious agents transmitting some of the neurological disorder. So a nerve related disorder, that means when the prions infect the animal, one of the main targeted part in the body is nervous system. So it will mainly target the nervous system so that it will damage the nerve cells, and most of these symptom what we can see in the animal is related to the nervous system. So you can just imagine, so when the nervous system is get affected, so nothing is in our control, because everything, whatever the function we are performing, whatever the activities we are doing, like moving hands and folding legs, whatever be the other function, so all are because of the nervous system. So the entire function related to the nervous system is get affected because of prions. Clear? Because the mainly targeted organ is the nervous system. So these agents are similar in size to virus. So you can just compare the size of prions with the virus because both are similar in their size. So one of the disease you can notice here is bovine spongiform encephalopathy. So this is commonly called as mad cow disease. So in cattle, prions causes one of the disease called as bovine spongiform encephalopathy. So because of this disease, brain is get affected. That means that brain will get damaged by this organism, and it is commonly called as a mad cow disease because when the brain is get affected, nothing is in control, no function is in control. Clear? So commonly it is called as a mad cow disease. So it is seen in cattle. Then in human also it will causes one of the disease called as C.R. Jacob disease. It is called as CJD in human. So this disease is seen in human, as I said. So some of the common symptom is loss of nervous coordination, because the nervous system is mainly targeted by the prions, so that nervous coordination is get affected here. And one more symptom is loss of memory, and it will also affect the involuntary movement of some of the organ. So prions are highly infectious proteinaceous particle. They causes diseases only in animals, not in plants. So this you should remember. Understood, right? So viroids causes diseases in plants, but prions they causes diseases in animal. Understood, right? Then what is the infectious particle here? Proteins are the infectious particle. Then which is the common disease caused by prions in cattle? The common disease is bovine spongiform encephalopathy. It is called as mad cow disease, and in human it causes C.R. Jacob disease. Yes, now we have one more organism here. This is not placed under any of the kingdom because of its unique characteristic feature. So the name of the organism is lichen. So you might have seen on the surface of wall or on the tree trunk some of the patchy growth. So usually this patchy growth can be seen during a rainy season. So you can notice in this diagram. So this is the lichen. So this lichen is actually formed by two different living organism. You might have wondered because this is very small plant like structure. So this is formed by two different living organism. So one of the organism here is alga and another organism is fungi. So alga and fungi, they combine together and form lichens. Clear? So lichens are called as symbiotic association of algae and fungi. So what do you mean by symbiotic association? So symbiotic association is nothing but mutually benefited. That means algae and fungi, they are mutually benefited with one another. That means fungi helps alga and algae helps fungi. So like this, they are mutually benefited with one another. So there is no algae, fungi cannot survive. There is no fungi, algae cannot survive. So lichen is actually the symbiotic association between algae and fungi. So symbiotic association, in this kind of association, both organisms are mutually benefited with one another. So the algal component in the lichen is called as phycobiont. So we know algae is autotrophic organism. That means it can prepare its own food material. So the algal component in the lichen is called as phycobiont. So you should remember this terminology. Then this is the structure of internal structure of lichen. So if you take a section of the lichen, you can see the structure like this. So fungi is present on either side, and in the middle you can see the presence of algal cell. Green cells, what you can notice here, they are algal cell. So both are combined together and form structure of lichen. Then a fungal component in the lichen is called as mycobiont. So mycobiont is actually the fungal component. So fungi is heterotrophic, it can't prepare its own food material. So simply you can say that lichen is a mutual association of heterotrophic and autotrophic organism. Clear, right? So autotrophic organism, that means alga is autotrophic organism. It can prepare its own food material, and a fungi is a heterotrophic organism. How it can help? So let's see. Alga prepare food for fungi, and fungi provide shelter and supply water and nutrients for its partner. Clear, right? So fungi cannot prepare its own food material. Instead of that, what help the fungi is doing to algae is it is providing shelter. You can notice in the structure, internal structure, on either side of the alga, the fungal hyphae is present. It is giving shelter to the algae. Then one more favor what fungi is doing to algae is it supply water and nutrient to algae, because water and nutrient are raw material for photosynthesis. So these two raw material actually supplied to algae by fungi. So this is how two different living creatures, they are mutually benefited with each other in lichen. Then one more thing about lichen is lichens are very good pollution indicators. That means they grow where the pollution is not there. That means where the air pollution is completely absent, in that area we can notice the growth of lichen. So where the pollution is more, air pollution is more, in that place you can't see lichens. So because of that, lichens are called as indicator of pollution free area. Understood, right? So lichens are very good pollution indicators. So this is with regarding the lichens. So because the lichens are made out of algae and fungi, they are not placed under any of the kingdom. So it is difficult to identify whether the lichen is belong to the category of plant or it is belong to the fungi, so that it is placed out from the kingdom system of classification. So this is the last part of the biological classification. So by this I will end up this chapter. Thank you.